Hello everyone, today is not a review video because we're taking a look at the Mobula6 2024 edition. This is a pre-production quad, and I think it's best to wait for the mass production in order to actually do a review, because this could have gotten some care with the hand assembly or whatever pre-production process it went through that the mass production won't. So when I get the mass production one, I'll be running it around the house and doing all of my flights, and then I'll have a review. For right now, this is just kind of what's coming.
It's not a review.
Not a review. Not a review. Not a review. It's not a review. It's not a review. To give you a little bit of a look forward, 0702 motors, 25,000 kV, a new all-in-one board that is Express LRS based, and it has the VTX administrator integrated into the VTX, so you control it right there from your radio. A new camera from FXT. And it is 65mm, typical 65mm format with some tri-bladed props. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and narrate this, at least in some portion. We are only going to see an inside flight. This is a short, it's coming teaser. I don't know what is a good word for this. It could be a couple of weeks yet before we see the mass production. At least a couple of weeks before we see the mass production arrive stateside for like resellers and stuff like that. So if you're looking for this quad and it's way down the line, I will go ahead and link down in the video description where you can find a Mobula6 2024 edition. Of course, it's 2023 right now. We haven't turned over to 2024 yet, and I start the flight off within a 30-second flight and a crash, which is not unusual for me. I crash if I get 3 minutes of flight time on a whoop inside. I generally will crash at least once, if not twice. It's just a matter of you make a mistake. I am not a perfect pilot, nor most of us are. And so you come in a little low, you come in a little high, you come in a little left, you come in a little right. That's the way it happens. You just bonk into something unintentionally. And that's part of the fun of whoops, is that we just bonk into stuff, we bounce off, we turtle over, and we keep going. A couple things about this quad. From what I've found out so far, Happy Model has found an efficiency formula with the combination of the ESC firmware, the weight, the props, the motors, to where we can get, with this sort of flight style, we're starting to push that 3-minute flight marker, which I think is remarkable. I thought back and I weighed my Mo Beetle. The Mo Beetle also came with 0702 motors, and it came in way less, 15 and some odd grams. So almost 3 full grams less than this. I had to baby it on the second half of the flight doing close proximity in order to get 2.5 minutes. I'm going to fly this way for a full 2 minutes and 44 or 45 seconds. Geez, I've seen it so many times now I'm starting to forget. And it's not uncommon for me to get 3 minutes. So even though this flight isn't 3 minutes and you're probably looking at that battery voltage to land, now, remember, what's important for my battery voltage when I land is when I come down, I disarm, the quad's sitting on the ground, and I wait a few seconds. I want the battery to come up to as close as possible at 3.5 volts per cell. So even though our voltage is low, under load, that doesn't mean that we're hurting our battery. So as long as we can disarm, we can take most of that load off. We're no longer in flight, no longer spinning the props, and the battery comes in around 3.5 volts per cell. I'm pretty happy with that. That's what I'm shooting for in my flight, not only in reviews, but just my general battery care and flights. So you can see we've already got 244, so I was off there. We're going to be pushing the 250 mark as I come in to land. 248, and our battery has recovered to 264, so could have flown maybe another 5-10 seconds even on this particular type of flight. So hopefully that was kind of a fun little it's coming sort of teaser. I'm pretty excited about this. It does come with the A30 battery connector. I think that's a question that most people have, so you can use a BT20 battery on it. And I think there's some weight improvements that we can make on our own if we choose to. But I think out of the box, I'll tell you this. The freestyle flights outside, there might be a little bit of tweaking on the PID tune, but when it comes to ripping around the house inside, I thought it felt very controllable. It felt like it was pretty locked in, like I didn't have to overcorrect too much for a loose PID tune or anything like that. But again, pre-production. Mass production might be different. I hope not, and I would think not. It doesn't make much sense that it would be, but by chance, if that were to happen, we'll find out here in a few weeks when the mass production Mobula6 2024 arrives. Normally, this is the time in the video where I would ask you for your comments and questions and suggestions, and I still do, but I might be a little bit more reserved about answering some of the specifics of the questions based upon this pre-production, but I'll do the best I can. If you want to leave your thoughts down below or questions down below, I'll do my best to come around and respond to those appropriately as I can. Hopefully that was a fun video. I always worry about doing something like this when it's way down the line that a product will be released and that might irritate some people. That's not my intent. It was more about showing you, and for those that have asked, where are winter whoops at? You know, we really haven't seen too many, or at least winter here in the northern hemisphere. We really haven't seen too many whoops here since winter turned up, but we got one coming, hopefully in a couple weeks. All right, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.